Welcome to Pandora's Awareness Podcast, a place where we collect stories and circulate life-changing wisdom. I am your host, Asher, and my co-host today is Queen Lav, as always. And our guest today is Cathy. And today, you're here because we get to talk about victories, Cathy. And we get to celebrate victories with you together. And we're going to jump out the show because we've been chatting so long backstage. We got might want to get the conversation going. So if you don't mind telling us where you're hailing from, what you specialize in, how you adding value to the world, and who you being a hero to.
So I live in Southern Illinois, near St. Louis, Missouri. I already forgot the second question, and who I add value to. The audience I serve is female entrepreneurs, mostly building businesses on social media. So can you remind me my second question?
Of course. So, who you being a hero to?
Who am I being a hero to? I
Mm-hmm.
prepped this and I heard this. Can I say my children? I'm trying to just model for my children. And one day they can say, my mom's my hero. That would be the ultimate for me right now.
I
I
love
think,
it. I'm sure it'll be like that. All kids, they grow up and they realize their parents are the real heroes.
of course, we are. Because if it wasn't for us, they wouldn't be here, man. So, we gotta start with the kids. But I'm curious about your journey there, Kathy. We get to talk about celebration today, Victory Day. And so far today has been this day has been going great for me so far. Me and Lab, we just came up with another conversation earlier in our Toastmasters club. We get to chat it up a little bit, and I've been having a great week, a really great week. How about you? How was your week, Kathy? How was your week?
My week.
Mm-hmm.
So my children went back to school. And for the mothers in the house that understand what it's like to be a mompreneur, we're all celebrating. It's been a great week. But
Mm.
at the same time, it's sad because now we have to wake up every day and go somewhere. So we don't get the freedom of the summer days. I'm a summer baby. So it's got its blessings, and my kids are in a new school and they love it. So it's all a win.
Mm. How about you, Lab? How was your week, man?
Awesome week. I had the opportunity to introduce our guests at Young Entrepreneurs Meetup again. I networked a little bit. It was awesome.
Mm. Networking, kids back to school. My daughter started college this week too. Happy for her. And I've been crushing it with my other projects. Some of the other stuff me and Lab been working on too. That be going on so pretty good so far. But Lab, everybody turned in their book project, by the way. Everybody turned in their book project for this month. So now we get to go and polish it up and really, really get that project out there. By the way, Kathy, if you don't know, this is what we do a little bit so you can understand what we do a little bit. So right now I'm working on an anthology book project
Okay.
where I bring together a lot of immigrants together. All of us are immigrants because Lav is an immigrant, I'm an immigrant. And then we focus on writing our stories and then we share that story in an anthology with the world. And that's been very empowering, just kind of see people's story and kind of read their journey. And it's been awesome, by the way.
I love that.
Are you a writer?
Well, I have been in two books now that were collabs. So I guess as of this last year, I'm a writer in the technical sense that I got published. I actually just signed my first solo book deal.
Mm.
And I think I decided this week I am a writer. I just am not a publisher. So I write a lot and I speak a lot. I have severe ADHD. I listened to you, Asher, talk a bit about this. I have my limitations, no doubt. And I was afraid to write because it requires you to sit and write. And now with the power of talk to text and then asking Chat GPT, hey, can you fix that for me? I'm
Mm.
a really good writer. I'm a storyteller. I like to just tell the story. I just didn't know how to put it into a published anything that someone would care about besides live video.
Mm.
So, what will your book be about?
So this is interesting. Okay, so the last two books, one was a magic mompreneur book. They're all business, okay? And it was basically being a mompreneur. The second one was specific to affiliate network marketing. So when I signed a solo deal, I'm like, what do I want to talk about? Because we all
Mhm.
minimize our stories.
Mhm.
But I think my strength in bringing value to others is truthfully through business. No matter what your life is, you can create your future, your dream life, so to speak. And so but people overcomplicate it, especially in the industry I serve. So I think I'm going to call my next book Kiss. Not keep it simple, sister, not keep it simple, stupid, keep it simple, sell. Because I work with entrepreneurs who are so tied up in like imposters, they just don't even sell. I'm like, we're busy staying busy and not selling the thing that we came and selling is serving. So let's just sell. That's what I'm thinking. Nothing written in stone at all. So we'll see.
Awesome. And can you share with us a little bit of your journey as a mompreneur?
A mompreneur. Let's roll back, right? I think I first became an entrepreneur when I was 18 in my backyard teaching swim lessons, and I made a brochure and turned it into something official, right? And then I became a school teacher and I became a new mom. And that was the first time I became very discontented with what I thought was my dream. After 5 years of teaching and having a baby, I literally found myself saying in the back of my head, not out loud, to my children in my kindergarten classroom, please quit talking to me. Please quit talking to me. And I realized I was on overwhelm having my own child and 25 other people's children, and my passion was gone. And I don't survive well if I'm not finding joy in what I do. And I remember seeing a teacher, I was super pregnant, and I watched this art teacher who was done, like mentally done, just checked out of life, done. Every week would bring my kids in half a sheet of paper and crayons, and that would be art class. And I said, I'm never going to be that teacher who's just so done and checking the box. But I didn't know what to do. I had a master's degree in teaching. My mom was paying my school loans. I prided myself on being a great teacher. And so I accidentally went into entrepreneurship when I decided to teach adults how to sell on eBay. I don't do this anymore, by the way, but I was selling my own things on eBay because as a teacher, you don't make a lot of money. So I was selling things on eBay, and then I thought, okay, I can teach other people to do this. And I proposed a class at a community college teaching people how to sell on eBay, and I taught adults. And then I started running payroll for my mom's business, and this afforded me an opportunity to take 1 year leave of absence. My son, who's now 19, was a year and a half. And then guess what happened? Some friend roped me into an at-home spa party, and I got introduced to network marketing in 2006. And that was really the beginning of actual entrepreneurship in a way. And then I just grew through it. I ended up moving up in network marketing. My mother passed. I took over the family business. And then 2019, I ended up deciding I'm bored. I sold my business. I had 2 more kids, and I ended up in social media doing network marketing. And that led me out of network marketing into business coaching and software, and now a new membership. It's crazy, but that's how it all went down. And the mompreneur part is I've never not been a mom on this journey. That was the fuel. Is like, I need to work. I have that drive, and my brain can't stop thinking of ideas. I got to put it somewhere. So now I get to help others who are kind of stuck get unstuck, and that helps me like also kind of get unstuck. So it's cool.
Thank you for the overview. I'm super curious as I was listening to you. You mentioned you got into social media and you combine it with network marketing. Like, can you be more specific a little bit? Can we understand?
This is a big part of my online story now. Network marketing is a very well-known industry. At the time, it was a very pyramid scheme. Lots of, it's like, don't tell anybody you do that. And when I came back into business in 2019, all I knew was either network marketing home parties. And honestly, I was like, do I want to do it again? I don't know. Or big business, which the home care agency, I noticed I really didn't do that many different things to grow my home care agency, but somehow it got this respect that my MLM didn't get. And that bothered me. So in 2019, I really thought I want to come back to network marketing, and I want to do it different. Like, I want to kind of elevate the perception of it, and I want to unite people, and I want to help people actually do business for business, not because of, forgive me if anybody is offended by this, but there's quite a cult mentality in network marketing, and like, we drank the Kool-Aid and all that. I wanted to kind of overcome that. So I was trying to figure out how to do that. And I did not want to do home parties anymore pre-pandemic because my kids were in diapers, 2 of them. And I was antisocial, really good behind the screen. In person, I'm very uncomfortable unless you're 5 and you're in my kindergarten classroom. So I found social media and live video to be a possibility. Didn't have to leave my house. Could work in my closet. My kids right now were just praying, do not bust in on us, okay? And I just started showing up on live video with the thing I had to sell, which was the network marketing products I love, and just really speaking my story, which I hope my audience agrees that might hear this also. I tend to tell possibly too much of the story, but it's also like there is no glory without the story. And part of the victory is that you can be real and still be successful in your own way. Anyway, through just continuing to do that, doing these little spa parties online, I built kind of a system of selling through live video. And I was told, don't do that. And I was told, don't mess with my system. And live video is never going to work. But then March 2020 happened and the world changed, at least here. And pandemic hit. And then everybody said, how are you doing that? How are you doing that? And so that's what led me into coaching, teaching, training. And then later software partnerships is people just wanted to know how to build on social and kind of like a conversational, authentic, but purposeful sales driven way. And that's what I did. I made a party system online, and that kind of was really the stepping stone into all the directions I've gone. So did I answer the question?
Yeah, you definitely did. And I do have to say that I love what you said. You said that you're selling the products that you love.
Yeah.
And I think there are so many businesses out there, multi-level marketing,
Yes.
and people get into it because they think, you know, they'll be successful. But I think if you truly, truly don't love that product and believe it's awesome, it'll be hard to succeed. So if you believe in it, you can build something big like Cathy did.
Well, so here's the two big words I've learned this year. Okay. Cognitive dissonance. Maybe your audience is like, yeah, I got it. I didn't get that. I was listening to Alex Hormozy do a talk on YouTube, and he said, there's this cognitive dissonance thing that we experience. I don't know, I'm not a psychologist, kindergarten teacher here. What happens is people realize what they've been sold is not really what they meant to buy, but now they're kind of stuck, right? So there's so much hype marketing in the industries I serve. If your product sucks, you have to market really well. And if your marketing's not that great, you have to do a hard sell. And then people realize, oh, it's all just a bunch of hype and it's not a good product, but now you're kind of stuck because you jumped up and down really loud about it. You hyped it up, and we can't get to this place to say, maybe I wasn't right. And so then what happens, especially in MLM, is people are stuck. I serve a ton of guilted, shamed people who are afraid to say, or I really want to go somewhere else, but they feel held down, right? And I experienced that. It's led to me selling my home care agency. It's led to me leaving my teaching career. It's led to me leaving network marketing twice. And it's led to me teaching the way I do. But once I understood that, you get it because you got to put food on the table. And sometimes you also create this image that you feel like you have to maintain. So Asher and Queen Lab, guess what happened yesterday? No joke, yesterday. I shut down about 80% of my business. I closed programs that have brought in almost $700,000 in income, and we started a $10 monthly brand new VIP community because I'm just like, I felt that like things are changing, but this is my bread and butter. Things are changing, but it's not needed in the industry the way I used to with what I was selling, not MLM. And I think that that's a hard place to be, is like, if you've been selling and it's how you pay your mortgage, right? It's how you show up. You go to bed with yourself at night being like, I'm the one who feels this. No one else does, right? So when I went to bed at night being like, I just wish I didn't own this company. I wish I didn't do this anymore. I wish I could. I'm like, why do I keep doing that? That indecision was killing me. So that's victory. I'm not afraid to make change. I'm afraid to admit change needs to be made. Right. And that's kind of been where I see a large part of my audience. So I love these type of conversations that just allow them to at least say, yeah, that's true. Now stay or don't stay. Sell crap or don't sell crap. Be passionate or don't. I'm about passionate businesses. And I'm part of the Maxwell certified team. And he says this: purpose, because we like to build purpose businesses, is passion plus skills and talents plus value added to others. And then I got it. Like, I can be passionate about it. I don't need to monetize it, right? I can be good at it, don't need to monetize it. But what if I'm passionate, good at it, and it helps others? Win. And that's my new filter. That's all I got.
You are sparking up some storm here, my friend. I love what you're talking about, by the way.
And are we gonna get backlash because I sparked up a storm? Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Listen. You are here's what I was thinking when you was talking. You know, if we get the why wrong, we're gonna get the goal wrong. Like, if the why is wrong, the goal is gonna be wrong. And oftentimes we look at stuff that we are doing and the why we don't realize the why we're doing it. And oftentimes we're doing it because of the wrong why. And then the goal ended up being wrong. We gotta change the goal now because the why is
Oh,
wrong. And
yeah.
then you were talking being stuck in that place, like I'm stuck here, can't get off it because the why was wrong.
So, and that's important because a lot of the things we do are just vehicles to the goal, to the dream,
Mm,
to the calling, to the conviction, right? And so I'm like, so really to me, it doesn't matter what your vehicle is. I remember, and most of my audience is network marketing, just so you know, and
mhm,
then I help them realize, like, is this where you love to be? Is there something that could be a better fit? Some of them are moving into like courses and classes, and they're doing it just because they're not thinking through, is this, and I'm like, all of it's a vehicle to the dream, right? So which
mhm,
one do you want to drive? You know, if you want to drive a Mercedes or a Pinto, I don't care. They're all going to get you there. It's what you want to drive to get there. And so I don't ever want people to think that I choose what they're passionate about or excited about. I just help them monetize it and simplify it once they figured it out. But it breaks my heart when I see them be like, I don't love this anymore and I feel stuck. So we do a lot of like building alongside, right? When
mhm,
people are in that place, I'm like, you can't quit. You can't, I could not quit my teaching career for that whole year. I had to work 3 jobs on top of it. I did the best I could with where I was at, with also a mission to get out,
mhm,
right? And so you serve fully where you are at that moment. And you just got to listen for guidance. And that's where I've been. I'm like, gosh, so the victory for me often is just like this. Excuse me if nobody's religious and this is any problem, but I'm like, God, you got it freaking figured out. You better tell me because I'm so lost right now. And if I'm some spiritual being in a human body, then you've got like hands off, I'm done. And you know, that Jesus take the wheel thing with Carrie Underwood would, and that's freeing. And that's honestly probably how I should have started. What's the victory this week is like, and I announced it today on social and it's scary. But
mhm,
I'm like, you know, nobody's responsible for ultimately what I'm doing except me,
mhm,
right? And
Yeah.
my father and my children are not cared for by you. I mean, unless y'all want to come like help out when we need help out, I got to figure that out.
mhm,
And so that's what's really exciting about being able to help people find the victories. For me, it's just being honest with yourself and then not being limited or feeling limited by your truth, right? And I've heard your story. It's we all have our own stories and they're all hard. They're not comparatively harder than the other. They're just our hard, right? And it's exciting to say, yeah, that sucks. That's true. That was tough, but it doesn't define the direction we go. And then my direction with people is just lighten it up, make it simple. We talked before we started recording about how calm you guys are and how whack I am.
mhm. Well, you know what? I was
Much
gonna go back to
energy I
that.
have, and I always second guess, like, just chill out. But I'm like, it's not me. I want to be that. I mean, I
Okay.
was after my workout today when I was tired.
I was gonna pull back the curtain a little bit, go further back because I think you were built for this profession, by the way. And I think we got some relation here because I'm also high energy. Lev knows this. Like when I get excited, I talk real fast. We like, slow down, Asher. Cool. But I realize that I'm also ADD as well. I have symptom of ADD and dyslexia. But I realize how much ideas I have. And you sound like you have a lot of ideas too.
Yeah.
But we are built for marketing and selling, by the way. I'm telling you right now. I recognize that in you. You was talking like, man, I gotta connect with you there, Kathy, because
Yeah.
I was in the military for 22 years.
Okay.
I didn't have to do any kind of selling, but I'm always good with people, like bringing people together, talking about
Mhm.
stuff, organizing, do all that stuff. I enjoy that stuff. I get energy from it.
Yeah.
But then I left the military. I'm like, man, what should I do? Like, man, I feel like I'm gonna be a good sales guy, a good marketing person. I feel that energy a lot. I love that stuff. So when you was talking, I'm like, I think we can get along very well because we got the same kind of brain. What are your thoughts?
I agree. And it's, you know, it's the blessing and the curse, whatever our brains are, we always feel that like, oh, I just wish it were something else. And I think I've had to just resolve in the fact that this is who I'm supposed to be. So there's an interesting statistic that like ADHD people with ADHD are 300 times more likely to be entrepreneurs. Also, my Fathom note taker from Zoom said I speak at like 2 times as fast as you're supposed to. That caught into my brain from earlier. But you know, I now have a team of people that work for me. And one of the hardest things and I don't know if this is a mom, I have no idea what this thing is, but I feel like I have to do it all. Like I feel guilty if somebody edits my podcast. I don't have a podcast, but pretend I did. I would feel guilty if I just did only the part I'm good at. And that's what I'm really working on right now is like, I feel like I'm good at connecting. I feel like I'm good at conversation. I feel like I'm good at inspiring. I'm not good at follow through. I'm not good at execution of all the pieces. And I start so many ideas and don't complete. And that's very frustrating for people. But I'm also in general quite positive. I'm quite creative. I tend to handle situations and not get too affected by them when other people, I'm like, well, I guess that's just how it is, right? And so I do not consider myself a seller. However, when I learned that sales is service and sales happens through conversation and connecting, I'm like, oh, I'm a seller. That's why it's a byproduct of just Maxwell says you have to find common ground with people. I think I can find common ground quite easily, even if it's just like, oh my gosh, we have a matching shirt. Do you know what I mean? Or like we're both from the United States, or we both have short names because our full names are hard to say, or deeper, like we're both moms or we're both parents. And the end result from that, sometimes I can't see. I'm just like, I don't know where it's going to go. I just know this is where it is right now. And my son with ADHD, I say, stop worrying about that. It's not happening right now, because he's very anxious about all the things. And so now I say, hey, what do you want to do? He goes, I don't know. I can't think about that. That's not what's happening right now. Like that is just be in the moment.
From your experience, you think that it's harder to see the bigger picture?
Yes, it's like, I don't know about you, Asher, but if I just wrote a Facebook post today about what happened at the beginning of my story when I shared with you guys that pandemic came and I started teaching. I was not trying to be a coach, teacher, trainer, anything. I just liked to tell other entrepreneurs and network marketers about what I was doing because I like to share. And one person, a business coach that I was working with to do Facebook ads for network marketing, I realized that's not my route, but I didn't know what it was supposed to be. I'm like, I don't know why I'm here, but so she's like, so what are you doing? I'm like, I'm running a Facebook ad to a virtual party training. She's like, why? I'm like, I don't know, because I don't want to run it to network marketing. She's like, why don't you turn that into a class? That has literally been the like little spark that has become everything we have now. Right. And so how can I see that? I can't even barely see the stairs sometimes, but I can take a step. Some people see that end and then they reverse engineer it. I can see just like what I need right now. So network marketing, here's what I said. I need $2,510 a month and I can resign from teaching. I see nothing else. And that's where I started. So if you guys have that ability, do you have the ability to like see where it's going, reverse engineer, and then it totally flows out that? Or do you find like, I just know this step?
So right? I can see the bigger picture.
Yeah.
But I can only see the next step.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I need that person to craft the plan or to reverse engineer the whole thing from the bigger picture.
Yeah. And I feel like if somebody said to me, here's what I want. If you guys were like, hey, I want to start a home care agency. I don't know. That's ridiculous. Be like, okay, let's talk about what it looks like at the end, like you're saying, and let's reverse engineer it back. But to say that it ever goes that way, it never goes that way. It never goes that way. Like we have a new software thing we're promoting, and I'm like, I have 51 users. I need 250. I knew the exact path I was going to get there. Do you think that's how we got there? Right? So sometimes you're right. And that, I think I'm good at maybe I'm good at that part. I can see the way I think it should go. And when it doesn't detour me from still going. I'm like, oh, well, guess I'm wearing flippers instead of, I'm wearing Speedos today instead of a whole swimsuit. I don't know. I'll still swim. But that is the fun part. That's the victory, is just survival, to be honest.
Okay. So here's something I will share with you, because we are very related. We got to talk after this. We got to connect. Swear to God. So your brain is very similar to mine, except, I got the other piece that probably you don't have. So I understand, like me personally, I have to see the end, the destination before I start. So when somebody give me something, I have to map it all out. Like I have to see the complete thing first before I take action. Or I jump in there like right away. Because you was talking about you're not a follow through, or you probably not a fact finder either. Like you probably jump in there right away. I'm a quick start. There's a test called Colby. Have you ever heard of it? Colby test. Have you heard of that test before? The Colby.
No, I mean, I've done the color thing and I am not green or red. I'm just like, hey, let's have fun and let's keep going. So is that what you're talking about?
No, it's called Colby. There's four things. It's called a quick start, follow through, fact finder. There's one more I can't remember off the top. But oftentimes, entrepreneurs are often quick start. People that gets into stuff right away, like to get it going. Then you got people that have to find all the facts first. Those people you need on your team, right? I'm a quick start. I think you're a quick start, so I would assume you're probably a quick start if you take the test. And then the follow through piece, like I'm not the third or fourth quarter guy. I'm not the one to finish. I'm the one to start stuff. So like you, so similar to you as well. So that kind of helped me understand stuff. But I'm a person I like to see map out the vision first. Somebody tell me about something, I need to see where I'm going before I start. Like, where are we going? Like, where are we going? Oh, we going over there. Okay, cool. And my brain gets that, then I can do something about it. Oftentimes, you might not take the same route, but I need to know where I'm going.
Okay.
My brain works
I
that
don't
way.
care where we're going. Put me in a car and I don't care. Let's just go. But I will say, like, I'm starting this new membership and I have some solid ideas of what I want to see in it.
Hmm.
So the co-founder of my new membership, she's like, just trust me, let me take the lead. And I'm like, okay, I will, but I need to for sure see this only because we're almost kind of like revamping something we've done before. So I know for sure the elements I want. But
Hmm.
if it's a new adventure, like my dad and I got in the car to go to spring break and he's like, like literally it was that day. I'm like, so do you want to go to Florida? And he's like, sure, cool. And I'm like, let's stop at Tennessee. Let's do this. I mean, we'll stop at every gas station. I don't care. I don't even care if we end up in a, trampoline park in Connecticut. I'm good. That part of it is probably why some of the things that I thought were going to happen haven't happened in my life. Like I thought I would retire a teacher, right? But then when I realized I didn't, and I don't know your guys' story of like relationships and stuff, but I'm a single mom. And so all these, I think it changed for me. My ADHD, I don't even think happened until I had my first child and things quit going as predicted.
Hmm.
Okay, the children don't seem to, that what to expect when you're expecting book was wrong. I think that changed my ability to even want to have that whole like this is the way it's going to turn out because I feel defeated when it doesn't. So maybe that's something I'm still growing through. So because of that, I'm just like, you know what? Every day is what it is. And zero expectations has helped me not be angry or resentful anymore about the reality of the way things are, at least as of now. But I want to be you in that regard. I think that my team would be happier if every time I didn't go, but wait, now here's the vision. Here's the vision in general. Help entrepreneurs have fun, simplify their businesses, and get results. That's all I know. So I want that piece that you have. So you teach that to me.
Yeah, so I realized the power of unique ability. Like if you can just focus on the thing you love, which is sharing. You love to share. I love to share too. I'm saying
Yeah.
like I would invite people to all the parties I can invite them to, right? Because I love doing that. Like if somebody tell me, Asher, I can't make it, somebody might feel like, oh my God, how broken he said no. Like I don't get that feeling when somebody tell me no,
Yeah.
right? I just keep inviting people.
Yeah.
But I understand that not everybody the same way. Like somebody get rejection affect people different than it affect me.
Mhm.
And it's something I build over time. But I remember when I started like, man, it don't affect me like it affect other people. When somebody says, no, I can't make it, I understand. It doesn't feel like it's about me. So yeah, I think you might have that gift. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Well, it's true. I don't know that it is a gift. I think it was a learned skill
Learn
because
skill. Okay.
I used to be taking rejection very, very personally, and I didn't have like a lot. I remember being the wife when I was married, where my husband didn't want to take me anywhere because I would stand very. It, I was later told it looks really ugly when you're shy. You're actually very insecure, and it looks like snobby. And I never thought that.
Mm,
I was like, no, I'm just scared what people think. But then I got into network marketing, and it is a great personal development business. Like I had to quit thinking
mm-hmm,
about me. I literally could no longer care what you thought if I wanted to succeed. And I had to step so far out of my comfort zone. I mean, I've probably done over, I don't know, at least 300 in-person parties. I had to go into random people's kitchens and like make small talk. And then I had to like, care about your situation when I came here to sell. And then instead, I mean, I've been in some of the craziest situations in people's homes. So I think I just learned like it's not about me. And I made some of my best like connections, friendships, relationships in a business. I thought I was there to just make money. And so that is probably my favorite part of what's been on the other side. So
mm,
like us that are going to go connect on social and be new friends now, that's the best part. So, yeah, but I learned it, or maybe I had it and I never found it until there was an opportunity to use
mm.
it. Don't know.
I do want to ask you something that probably our listeners who are mothers want to know. How do you juggle the responsibility of being a mother and taking care of the kids and being there
Yeah,
for them and with them and
yeah.
thriving in your business?
Well, it makes me want to cry because if a mother is listening to this, you know that she is also asking herself that question, and I am too. If someone says that they think I do that well, thank you for thinking that. I don't think I do that well. However, there's a bit of a systematic process to everything I do. And I didn't realize it until I heard John Maxwell talking about, like, even when he goes to a baseball game, he has a system. Like, first he gets in the hot dog line. And then, so I think moms are kind of good at like those processes or systems to survive. And so I am certainly not structured where if it doesn't hit exactly, but as much routine as we can put into our business and our life is very, very important. And I'm super excellent at tracking metrics and looking at what's working and what's not. And I can very quickly say, we've tried this long enough, it's time to pivot. So if you're a mom trying to balance, there is no balance. I had an Instagram once called Blended, Not Balanced. It's a complete flipping blend. And so as much as I can say, like, I'm parenting right now, in theory, I would like my children to not walk through this door. When they do, I'm not going to flip out. I might mute you and be like, shh, right? But it's happened enough that I just accept, like, this is all the journey. This is all the experience. I think it's that permission, because my father is one of the most gentle, amazing people. I wasn't parented from him in a way that was like, it only happens this way. Like, everything's fine. Everything is just, and so that I did adapt to that mentality. My mom was one who was like, if it doesn't go expected, she might get kind of upset, right? You can't do that if you're a parent. You can't do that if you're an entrepreneur. And if you're both, you really can't do that. So having systems, having support, and I don't know about you guys, I'm not afraid to admit the amount of support I have to have. Whether it's therapy to help me think straight, or a house cleaner, or somebody to take care of my kids. My 19-year-old's here now. I used to feel so guilty about not handling it all. So dear moms, you are better when you have a babysitter for 2 hours a week. I started getting help when my kids were little, just a couple hours a week. And then I made it a rule. If I'm paying you $50 to watch the kids, I better make $50 during those 2 hours, right? And be super on purpose. And then I have a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 daily method of success. Again, I was a network marketer. We were taught systems. I was a teacher. We were taught lesson plans. So this purposeful activity, and I like things like Jillian Michaels, 30-day shred. My workout better be super on purpose. Get it done, move on. There's too much unpredictable, but some of these things we can control and we don't want to because we're mad. Like, I don't want to control some things that I can because I'm just mad that I have to do it by myself. And when I kind of got over that, I realized I could put some systems in place. So just give yourself permission to see what you need and want and figure out, how you can make that happen. So a lot of that's been through childcare swapping. I mean, I used to have 10 kids in my home at a time. Be like, you take your kids, I'll take my kids. I don't care. But then some days they're all gone. So
You sound like a really good barterer, like the bartering thing. You do a lot of that.
What?
Bartering. You know what bartering is? Bartering. Maybe I'm not saying that right because I got the TH problem here.
So Zoom is translating you as butter and bothering. So keep going. Bartering.
There we go.
Trading.
Okay.
I'm very good at trading. Trading. Yes. I live at my dad's house, as I showed you guys at the beginning. And when we had this discussion, I was coming here a lot to help him with medicine and doctor appointments. And I was a single mom maintaining a home that we didn't need a home for 6 people anymore. And him and I had this open discussion, and he said, "You're my angel, you help me." And I said, "No, you're like my calm in my storm." And we started talking about me moving here. And I was like, I don't know if that's a good idea. He's like, I think we can help each other. And it's for sure a barter. Like, I know he has to deal with kids here, and I'm picking up a lot of responsibility for another person who needs support in another way, but it's a fair trade, I think. And that was our agreement. If at any point somebody's getting the short end of the stick and you feel like that, just say it, right? And we do that in business. Collaboration. Asher, by the way, everything came from MLM, I think. Network marketers have so much on their plate that we had to collaborate. Right? You deliver the party, I'll bring the snacks, whatever. And so in online, we have this divide and conquer thing we do with Facebook groups. And I say, like, if you can't delegate, if you can't hire, then quit having to do it all yourself. We do team parties. I'm like, I'll go live on video. I do not want to count the comments. I do not want to put the graphics up. And I think that's just the parallel in anything. Like, I mean, I don't know. Are y'all like superheroes? And are you like, we're not God. I can't do all these things we're trying to do.
No, of course not. Like, the moment I actually started to take control over my life is when I realized that It's not, I mean, from my perspective, it's not in my nature to be all organized and everything is perfect. And oh my God, I have blocks in my time for everything. And I was kind of beating myself up why I'm not able to do all that. I'm like,
Yeah,
well, I don't function like that, and it's fine. And
that's
I'll just thrive in my natural state and I'll improve, but I cannot change completely what I am at my core. And that's fine. A hot mess, but it's still hot.
it's true. And you know what? And what is the saying? Like whatever your shortcoming is, someone's like basically praying for your problem kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like actually I have the sign around here. Like I remember the day I prayed for what I have now. But it's like I look at you just calm. Okay. I like I don't know you guys till now aside from watching you on the videos and such, but I always am looking at someone being like, "Oh, I wish I had that. I wish I were that." And it takes me away from what I am. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what we do as moms. Like social media has really done it, or we do it to ourselves. I don't know, but
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I'm like, "Oh, have an office in my bedroom instead of a whole, I don't know, just these things we do. And it doesn't allow us to operate in our strengths or our callings at all. And then to give ourselves that permission is terrifying if you don't have support, right? If you don't have someone say, yes, that is what's great about you, instead of saying, but all these other things suck. So a lot of people, that's why I don't know if you guys have like communities of like, are you doing coaching or you said a mastermind or a Toastmaster,
Oh
something?
well, I mean, I have Toastmaster group, but we also work on. We have like a immigrant anthology book working group that we work with, and we just kind of
Yeah.
write
So you're
stuff as
bringing
well.
these communities of people
Mm-hmm.
with similar experiences, stories, or struggles.
Mm-hmm.
We have to seek that outside of where we are, because a lot of times, like our closest little network is not the people that can really pull out our strengths. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's also been part. I'm in an ADHD mom entrepreneur group. I'm in a mom of autism kids entrepreneur group. My Facebook friends have helped me. People like you guys just see the strength and then you
Mm-hmm.
walk like, oh, I feel so good about myself, right? So it's good.
Well, I agree with the community piece. You know, when
Yeah.
I left the military, that's one of the big things that I realized that I was really needed. I was meant to be
Mhm.
is community builder, connector. Like you would say, you would feel like you were a good connector. Me too.
Yeah.
And when I left the military, there was a gap between me re-engaging with my family again
Mhm.
and me leaving the military because I couldn't count on my
Okay.
military family because they don't understand entrepreneurship, right?
Yeah.
They only know military, and then my family. So now I was in a space where I don't have a community anymore. I got to find the entrepreneur community. And that place was so lonely and so scary. My God. Like, listen, I took a year sabbatical, Kathy. I was
Yeah.
paralyzed for almost months, just sitting there, not able to move because I didn't know. I had a lot of plans. I had to plan Melito, but I just couldn't do anything because I was just
Yeah.
communityless. And that's scary. So I know
It
when
is.
people realize that you need somebody to cheer you on, somebody to edify you, somebody to point out your strengths. Like, hey, man, you should focus right there, Kathy, because when you're there, like everybody comes around, right? Because they come for that fruit. But without somebody telling like what you're great at, you probably won't see it because oftentimes you don't see your greatness. Somebody gotta see it
It's true.
and say, "Hey, you're really good at this. You should stay here. Like if you're here, you have a whole community surrounding you, right?" But
Yeah.
sometimes we don't see it.
No, you can't see what you can't see. It's I say that all the time. I'm like, that's great, you can see it. I can't. Therefore, help me see it. Help me see what you see. And I think that this week I've been, since the kids have been back at school, um, had a little bit of time for myself again with just working out. Or my dad's like, you're bored now, aren't you? I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of bored. I'm just like laying on the
Mhm.
floor, walking around, seeing what he's doing. But I think that sometimes once I got purposeful about the things that at least I knew I could do. And guys, it's minimal. I mean, working out is a freaking joke for me right now because I used to be extremely fit. And now I'm like, I don't even have weights anymore. So I got these from my students. It's a Tiffany's like really heavy votive holder that they thought was small. So I'm like lifting weights with this. I'm like, oh, I don't even have real stuff anymore. But I started and I'm like, I can do a 20-minute workout or a 20-minute walk in the park. I can at least make a decision about the direction I want to take my business. And for some reason, at least like doing the tiniest things that I could, I let go of the things that I didn't feel like I was doing to the level I should. Do you know what I mean? And
Mhm.
so for each of us, right now, there is something we can take action on. And that's the hardest part is like, well, what is it? Because you feel like nothing. Sometimes you feel like nothing. I can't think, I can't see straight. I don't know what it's supposed to be. And so sometimes my first thing I started doing again was just listening to a podcast in the morning that was positive. affirmations. I'm like, I can listen to something positive and I can stretch for a minute. So sometimes you just got to have a starting place,
Mm.
instead of that big finish line. And then you finish the line, and then guess what? There's another one anyway. It's like, you've got to be good with
Yeah,
where you are right now.
never ending.
It isn't. If you are on a growth journey, it doesn't end, right?
You
So
know,
you're not going to arrive.
you know what I did? I create this massive ass goal. This goal so big, I know I can't accomplish it. But this is something I did for my brain because I realized I got to turn this thing off. I have to get it focused, right? So I create this big ass goal that ain't no way I can achieve it by myself. That means I need people to help me get it
Yeah.
done. And based on that, that means I would never have to want something different. I wake up, I want the same thing every day, the same thing every day. I just might have to pick different ways to get there, but it's the same big thing I'm going after. And that thing relieved me from like thinking about, okay, once I finish this goal, I need another goal. No, I have the same goal because it's so big, you're gonna need me a whole community to get it done.
Yeah.
And that shift my mindset a little bit when it
Yeah.
comes to the future.
Very good. You got to have somewhere to put all of that. We did something similar-ish. I can't stop. And because of all these ideas, I shift and go from thing to thing to thing to thing. But
Hmm.
it like pulls people. I'm like, so what's the united goal? What's the end in sight? And
Hmm.
so this new community we're building, I just was like, well, as long as I can put everything into there, then all we're doing is building this community. And we know what we want it to be: female entrepreneurs. No, no offense, Asher, you could come be a guest speaker and hang out too. Men find their
Hmm.
way, but I tend to work a lot with moms, and that's who my audience is, like people who are have left their careers, often had professional careers, and have that drive to do something, but they want to be home. So they're like torn. So I'm like, well, if I just build a community of female entrepreneurs and I help them succeed that lifestyle they want to achieve, whatever their definition of success is, that's what I'm doing. And that is so open. It's so fantastic. Because just like what you said, I'm like, that means I could teach, virtual events. That means I could teach software. That means I could do a personal development class. That means I could teach you to curl your hair, like literally. And that's
Mm.
exciting. It's finding
I
like
actually
what is
wanted to ask you for the moms and women entrepreneurs that are listening to us and they're interested to work with you. Are you working with them one-on-one or in group sessions?
we work in groups mostly. This is my first year doing one-on-one.
Mm.
So once again, because I am a mom first and a daughter, and I have responsibilities outside of my work, I would be a huge disservice to people to act like I could pull off a lot of one-on-one help. So I did do it with my highest level program students this year, and I got to work with 10 entrepreneurs for 12 weeks, and I loved it so much that I'm going to do it super, super, super limited. So everybody who wants to work with us comes into our community. We have free community, and we have very low membership. And then we just kind of, meet people, learn what they need, qualify them through. And if I identify that you would be supported by one-on-one, then I invite people like, hey, do you want to jump on a call? I don't sell my one-on-one services at this time. They're just part of my highest level program. So one day when my kids are not 7 and 8 and needing me all the time and the school's not calling, or I'm not taking my dad to doctor appointments, this is not my season.
Hmm.
I wish it were. I'm surprised we made it this far. So I have not done podcasts in quite a while, simply because I'm terribly embarrassed about the type of interruptions we have here, because I have a child with some needs. And I just shut down. I was like, I can't even go on camera. We might get interrupted.
Mm.
My dad brings in some things sometimes, and I'm like, shh. He doesn't realize I'm on a camera. You know what I mean? So I prefer group scheduled events, community engagement, and just people who kind of get who I am and who I help. And so if that is anybody that is like, she's my girl, let's just come over to social media, we'll hang out. Or Asher, come over to social media, we'll hang out. I do have men clients in our other communities, just not in our main group.
However, you'll have to wear a wig, Asher.
You
You have
don't have
long
to wear a wig.
hair.
Listen, my software company, my co-founder is a male. And so in the software group, but this like foundational community of like women who talk about some stuff that some people are like, oh my gosh, I don't even get you. Just teach me how to automate an event. We have specialty classes. And then we have men, when I was selling network marketing, who started creating kind of their own communities for their own things that I can't relate to. Do you understand? Because we do health and wellness. Like need to have some of these conversations. And so I was like, go build a community then. Go, or whatever whomever you are, whatever you are relating to people with, build that. Like, don't, whatever it is. That's why these, ADHD entrepreneurs solidified a group together. Quit feeling like the outcast and go find other people like you. So whatever
Mhm.
you guys are building in your commonality with people, mine just happens to be mom entrepreneurs. So who are crazy,
I
but
would
also
say this though.
convicted.
I was ordained by the amazing energy of the world that actually you're supposed to work with women. Really, I was trying to figure out why is it not happening with the guy, and I realized I'm meant to work with women. So I embrace it. I start following my instinct. Start trusting my instinct when it comes to that piece of it. And woman is my community build.
Yeah, you attract who you attract. And do you know that most of my business coaches, um, 75% have been male. But
Mm.
then my friend entrepreneurs that I just gain ideas from and we kind of decide to take action with things are female. I don't know how it works. It just is what it is. And then we build communities. I actually build communities, funny enough, for my ideal audience. If I put a Facebook ad out, would be 35 to 55. You would be a mom. You would want to do some kind of entrepreneurship. And then somehow, I remember when I attracted a grandma and she's like, "Can I join your team?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Grandmas do this too." And I was like, "Yeah." And then another grandma, because they thought like they could only be this. And then I looked at like my circle and I'm like, not many of you are actually who I'm targeting. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so I just say, listen, here's who I'm an expert at, I think, helping. If you find value or if you've gained something and you want to hang, you stay right here. So the first time we had two guys come into a virtual party challenge, they're like, can guys do it? I'm like, yeah, it's just a party system. I just might want to openly talk about a period or something. And sometimes guys
Menstrual
don't,
cycles, man. Yeah, we understand.
or my hysterectomy. But that's where I just found like not as uncomfortable when I was in a community that was right where I was at. So I do talk about some stuff too much on social where people are like, I can't believe you. I'm like, hey, stay or go, man, your choice. So it's interesting.
And I'm very curious where we can find you. If people who are listening to us right now say, "Oh my God, I want to be around her and in her groups," where they can find you.
So Facebook is my GM. You can go look at other social platforms. It's my connection point is Facebook, Cathy Callahan on Facebook. My business page is Cathy Callahan, and so is my personal. And then can I say my website?
Yeah.
Okay, so my website is socialsalesschool.com.
Mhm.
And then our group, we have our groups and stuff. Everything will feed over from my website or my Facebook. And yes, I'm on Instagram. Yes, I'm on YouTube, all those things, but I will not connect with you over there. I don't look at my DMs, and YouTube, we just recycle content. So come to Facebook, let's play, or go to socialsalesschool.com, or you can look my content up on YouTube. Does that sound good?
Mhm.
I'm
Awesome.
very
Thanks.
simple. I'm very simple. And that used to catch me up too, is like I should be everywhere and have it all optimized. And the truth is, I do a couple things really well, and that's about it.
Just you got focus, my friend. So,
I
what
got
is your
focus.
biggest takeaway, Kathy, from this conversation?
My biggest takeaway from this, because I had no idea what direction we're going to go, is we are not alone. We are also uniquely amazing. And the victory is just in connecting and walking away. I would say gaining something right now for all of us, all three of us on the screen or people listening, that you can say, wow, like that is what's awesome about me. And there is victory in the story, right? We have our
Mhm.
hard, but there is no message without a miss, if you ask me, right? And so we take our hard and we turn it into our good.
What about you, Lab?
What's your main takeaway?
I'll tell you mine. So mine is like, don't be embarrassed to admit to yourself and to the people around you when you are stuck in a situation that you don't like it anymore. Like,
Yeah.
as you said, you say it out loud to the world. This is what I'll do for the rest of my life. And now if you practically are not true to yourself, if you come back and say, "Oh, I actually don't really want to do that for the rest of my life," don't get stuck in that. You have one life, and just take take a chance and change your life. Take a different step, a next step. Just focus on the next step. Make it different.
It's so true. And I laid with a lot of dying people when I owned a home care agency, and I listened to way too many stories, and I learned like, don't lay with regret, right? So right now, if you just know you're discontented, like fix it, change it. At least one step that's going to maybe open that door. So I love that.
My biggest takeaway listening to Cathy, you have an incredible story, by the way. And I think we share a lot of connection points when it comes to how our brain works. I realized that we got very similar brains, so we definitely got to connect and see how I can empty my cup into your cup, you empty my cup, we
Yes.
mix it up a little bit, and we can
There you
figure out
go.
we can go from there. But I was listening to you. You mentioned earlier, you talked about the book thing, how you find a way to start. When you were saying it, it hits me. It was like, I have so much idea, but now I start writing, putting stuff down, right? You start putting stuff down, it start making sense. Now you have ChatGPT to kind of lean on. I'm like, okay, well, now make sense of all this stuff here. Because something that I discovered with the book writing stuff project me and Live working on. So I was telling the guys, like, listen, I want you to just write your story out. Give me 10,000 words, right? Just write it out. Disorganized, doesn't matter. Just write your stuff down. Write it out, write it out.
Mm-hmm.
And then with these new AI tools we got, they are
Mhm.
great at analyzing stuff. So I just paste that in there and I ask it to give me all the top stories, whatever, analyze, organize for me. And it take your entire story that's disorganized and make sense of it. And you're like, oh my God, that's what I'm looking at. So now I don't have the stress of like, okay, I gotta find a way to organize linear stuff,
Mhm.
everything. My brain don't work linearly. My brain work like a web. I connect dots, right? That's how my brain works. But with the new system we have, with all these AI tools, you can organize everything, right?
Good.
Ideas come to you, write them down, then get the system to help you organize it. So when you was talking, I'm like, oh, we can definitely talk about that. But I appreciate your power of selling or sharing, embracing that thing about you. Because oftentimes people hear somebody as a salesperson, they start look the other way, whatever. Like, listen, the reason why a lot of people not doing good in your business, because they're not good at selling or marketing. You gotta, those two things are the gatekeepers. If you don't want to embrace those two things, you're not gonna do well in business. You're gonna be like chasing around folks, not doing anywhere. So I
Yeah.
started embracing that. And hearing you saying that got me motivated.
I'm glad you're motivated. Now, here's the hard part I learned is now we got to be disciplined to take action, right? Because now we're inspired
Yeah.
and now so now our call to action is whatever we're motivated about. We got to be like, hey, Alexa, put on my calendar in 1 hour from now to start whatever. And that's the harder part, like taking the action, taking the imperfect, ugly, messy action. And
Mm.
when you can't figure out what action to take, dump it out to Chat GPT and be like, now, what did I just say? And what should I do next?
Mm. Here is something that I would give a gift the army gave me.
Okay.
Incredible discipline. Like I would fucking get shit done. Like that's what I should do. And that's
Do
one
it.
reason why
Wait. Say it again.
I say I would get shit done. That's what I do.
I will get shit done. This is what I do.
Yes.
Okay.
And the thing that's why the reason why I decided to go entrepreneur work. I was like, if I can give the military 22 years of my life committed,
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
can give myself 10 years of my life and focus on something that's gonna work for me. Because I have too much discipline and too much drive and too much thing to get stuff done. So I'm gonna do it for me in my own business. All right, I know we're gonna clock on the time. Just on live. You're looking at the watch. You ready to go live?
I don't have no watch in that side of me.
Okay. What
It's,
about
I
you,
guess,
Kathy?
the
You got some time we can chat
universe
after
was
this?
talking to me from that side.
Universe is talking to you. Okay. Well, we're gonna end the live, but we're gonna take a quick minute to make sure we connect a little bit, if that's cool with you guys.
Cool.
Okay, folks, you're tuning to Pandora's Awareness Podcast, by the way. You see how passionate that conversation was? Oh yeah, that's what happens when you bring almost three ADD brain folks in the same room. We just get stuff going. We got a lot of ideas. But if you guys find stuff interesting here today and want to connect with Kathy because she's a hero to you based on what she said, then definitely make her a hero. Make her one of your hero. And with that, folks, make it an awesome weekend.